Hey, Autumn Athletes, Larry Sorensen here, and today I'm going to sit down with John MacBean and find out what makes him an Autumn Athlete that's not done yet. Before we get started, as always, if you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, and ding that bell for notifications. Also, don't forget to visit automathletesndy.com for your cool merch and gear. So, enough of the commercial. Let's get this thing started. John, thanks so much for joining us today. Why don't you start us off and tell us just a little bit about yourself?
John McBean, I'm 64 years old, married, lovely wife Shelley. I got three children, Jana, John, and Cheyenne. I was prior Army. They were Navy and Air Force. I like to lift. I like to be athletic. I do the Senior Olympics also. I'm the state champion for discus, and I am the bronze medalist for the national. That's for the United States, where I competed in Pittsburgh. I just like to stay active. I like to stay in shape, and I do kind of take it to the next level. But I encourage other people to do anything: yoga, walks, hikes, light weights, heavy weights, run, jog, get outside, have fun. Um, Basically, that's my secret to enjoying life.
All right. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about several of those things that you mentioned. But first, let's just take a little journey back into your youth. Did you play any sports when you were a kid? What about maybe your young adulthood before you got into the master stuff? Fill us in a little bit on your athletic history.
We grew up in the country, so we would all get together and we would always be playing sports. We'd be playing football, softball, baseball, hockey in the winter, uh, roundup tag. We had a game called Hillbilly Tackle. It was basically just ran and tackled everybody. We had a lot of fun. And I did basketball and wrestling and track when I was in high school. And basically, I was a distance runner back then. I was very light. I had a metabolism that would not shut down. I think I was about 6 foot tall my senior year and only about 150 pounds. Joined the service, came out of basics in the AT at 6'4", 185. Uh, did my 6 years in the service, came back, went to college. I'd always been lifting, so I always been lifting weight ever since I was probably about 13. I just wanted to get stronger. I was trying to put on weight. Uh, Went to college, got a degree in biochemistry, did some work doing that, but I was always lifting, always lifting. And it wasn't until, well, when the wife and I got married and we had our first kid, I would be lifting 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, religiously. 3 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off. I'd get home about 3:30. I'd lift till 6:30. And back then, my lifting was more of toning, lots of reps, lots of different exercises, middle weights, not really heavy weights, but middle weights. At the time, I think my max bench was 285. I took a couple of years off after the third child, which I always regretted, but I did. I picked the weights back up at 39, and I started lifting the same way, a lot of reps, a lot of reps, a lot of reps. And I was really liking my progress, but I noticed I started getting a little stronger. So I was 40 years old the first time I benched 315. I was 44 the first time I benched 405. I had a good friend. He was a trainer at the gym at the time, Vince Robbins, and he kept saying, you need to go compete. And I said, well, I'm not doing this to compete. I did it. So I had two daughters, and I used to live with the football team, because they had to do stuff like that. The football players were great guys. So, but he signed me up for a meet in Decola, Illinois. It was called Sunlight Power. Dr. Latch used to run those. And we went down there and I won it. I put up 400 pounds on a sanctioned meet. And it kind of got interested. It motivated me to see where could I take this. Now I'm 6'4". I got a huge wingspan. So generally a bench is not a lift that is for somebody as tall as me, but I'm proof you can do it. I think I was about my best lift ever is at the age of 60 years old, where I did 480 in the gym, and I did 446.4 in competition. And the reason it's a odd number is because in competition, you lift in kilos.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 202.5 kilos. Uh, and that's where I want to kind of stay around. My lift in January of this year, I did 435 pounds. I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
It's difficult to stay at that level. Uh, just to, people say, wow, you were doing 440 and then 2 months later, you're only doing 405. I said, welcome to the world of powerlifting. When people go, well, I'm always going to do 315. I said, yeah, but you're not a power lifter and you never took yourself to the max.
Yeah.
You took yourself to a good weight. You kept at it, but you never sit there and went for the elite. I've got to compete with some very elite lifters. Dan Bell is probably in the top 5 of powerlifting. Ernie and Eric Little Briggs, also a very top end. Great guys. The powerlifting community is very supportive of each other. Mm-hmm. Even if you're competing against somebody, you don't want them to fail. The worst thing you can do is watch the guy miss a lift before your time to go up there. Because now you got to go, God, I got to get that out of my mind. Yeah. Because some of the lift is mental. It's 90% physical, but 10% of it is where your head is. Yeah. But I just enjoy doing the heavyweights. I've had my physicians for the last 25 years tell me I got to stop lifting heavy. I don't say that anymore. Yeah. Not that I'm saying people need to lift heavy. You don't. You just need to be active. But it's kind of in my DNA. It's just, I had a football coach ask me, how often do I lift heavy when I worked out? And I chuckle because usually you lift heavy about every 3-4 weeks. And I told him I do it every time I walk in the gym. Yeah. It's just what I do. Yeah. I train people. I don't train them the same way. But it's just, it's my mentality. It's what makes me happy. It's what, at no point in my younger youth did I think I would be benching 405 plus at 64 years old. Yeah. So, the thing of it is, I've been fortunate. Any injuries I've had, I've healed from. All right. I do a lot of small shoulder exercises to keep the shoulders strong. I've actually got a couple of videos out there on that. And then I had somebody go, well, you should do the Senior Olympics. I said, hey, that's pretty cool. So I picked up discus and shot put, and I was throwing in my driveway, gravel driveway. Then I moved out to the road, so at least I'd have somewhat of an asphalt surface. And I went to the first one in Illinois, and I took gold in both discus and in shot put. I went to Iowa, where I had my best throw of 137 feet with discus. And then I qualified for nationals, and I went to Pittsburgh, and I did nationals there, where I was just tickled pink that I got bronze. Because there was, you had all your state champions there. Yeah. So I was very happy with my performance there. I'm going to continue to do powerlifting. I've lifted at the Arnolds. Last year I did it. I was in not very good shape, but I did it anyway. I put up 385. I'm going again next year. Yeah. But like I said, July has been currently my best lift, which was 435.
So you touched on a couple different things there. First, I just want to hit on the kind of the track and field portion of it. Have you considered getting involved with the actual USATF Masters track and field versus just the actual Senior Olympics, state Senior Olympics?
Possibly when I retire.
Yeah.
All right, because right now I work a full-time job.
Yeah.
I work a second job. So yeah, I only have so much time to donate, and right now my number one priority is lifting.
Yeah.
And then in the summer I'll throw the discus throwing in that. But I could see myself doing that once when I retire, I'm going to have to stay busy.
So just kind of interesting, still along those lines. Now, I haven't watched you yet throw the disc or shot put, but do you do any kind of a spin technique, or is it just a straight?
I do. No, I do spin.
Yeah. So
it's not the sweetest thing, but I do get around without falling down.
Well, I guess the question is, because you're doing the lifting and you specialize in the bench, right? Or are you doing all three power lifts?
No, I'm mostly the bench. I used to do bench and deadlift. But I think I had a pec injury that I think it was because I was working the deadlift too hard.
Okay.
And whenever I squat heavy or if I deadlift heavy, my lower back starts talking.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where, okay, what's important? Be able to walk around without bent over like the Hunchback of Notre Dame or lifting heavy weights. So
Yeah.
now I know guys who deadlift and squat 800 pounds.
Yeah.
And I think it's just incredible that they can do that.
Yeah.
But my deadlift is about right equal to my bench, but I don't squat heavy. I don't go over 225 on squat.
So I guess where I'm going with this is just because the discus so forth is kind of a whole different story. Now we're talking about speed, movement, coordination, agility. So how is it you all of a sudden step in and you're able to be that successful in that event when you're specializing, specifically in the bench? Do you do stuff, during your normal workouts? Are you doing that kind of athletic stuff, or is it just you are a freak of nature and just can walk on and do it?
Yeah. One of my favorite lines from a movie called Young Frankenstein is, I don't know if you ever watched the movie, but he talks about, the brain. He goes, was that Hans Delberg's brain? He's like, no. He goes, what brain was it? Well, it was Abby something. It was Abby something. Yeah, Abby normal. He goes, so what I do is not normal for somebody my age, but when I do decide to move in a direction, I research. I still talk to my old track coach. I watch a lot of videos. I watch what special exercises to do to help with my dexterity, which is the main thing. I mean, my coordination is not at 64 is not what it was when I was 18,
Yeah.
and it was never great. But and I put a lot of practice in it. When I got ready for the state, I was probably out there 5 days a week throwing probably 30 to 40 throws each day, and I would record it and I would measure it and I would watch my throw and I'd watch, was I bending over, was I sitting there leaning back too much. I trained my son discus in high school and he went to state 3 years in a row.
Okay.
So I know the theory behind it.
Yeah.
It's just that he can outthrow me.
Yeah.
He's far more dexterous and faster than I am.
Walk us through what, maybe a typical week's workout would be for you. How many days in the gym, whatever cross training you're doing, the throwing, all that. Just kind of walk us through that, what you would do.
So generally, if I don't have a meet, anytime soon, and that, I've got my chest day, which I will start with flat bench, and I'll do probably about 3 to 4 warm-up sets because it takes a while being at my age where the joints don't hurt so much. So I'll start with the bar. I'll go to 95, 135, 185, 2 1/4, and I don't really consider my workout starting until I get about to 315.
Right.
And then I'll do my heavy sets. And when I'm in really good condition, my heavy sets are 315, 365, 405, sometimes even higher. And then I'll do a burnout. Usually it's 315. I'll burn out and do as many as I can. And that's kind of my litmus test. Am I going to be stronger next week? Did I make progress? Because if I get like an extra rep on that burnout, I know I'm going to be able to lift a little bit more next time I work out.
Yeah.
I do a strict arms and shoulder day. So I got a couple machines that are favorite to me, but I do pull downs. I do the whole stack. I'll have people stand on the stack and I'll pull them down. And of course, I get the people, oh, it's got pulleys. Yeah, sure it does. It has pulleys. Yeah. All right. And so you get a nice smooth transition. It's not like the back ones where the thing is jerking. You want a nice smooth transition. So yes, there's pulleys on it, but the weights are calibrated. Yeah. Right. With a pulley system, the heaviest weight on that stack is 97.5 pounds. On a single system, that same stack, which is smaller, is 295. So a lot of times I have to teach math to people. So that's the one, pulleys, it's only, I said stop. Military press is a big one I do. Yeah, shoulders, bench is going to be shoulders, chest, back, and arms. And the triceps are at the end. I mean, basically it's your shoulders and your pecs and your lats that are doing the explosive power. Because I'll get that, your arms ain't big enough to do that. It's not an arm exercise, it's a chest exercise.
Yeah.
And my arms are big enough. I'm 6'4". I have 18-inch arms.
Yeah.
It's just, there was a fireman who did the world's strongest man who was like 6'10".
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, everybody thinks I'm skinny, but I'm huge because
Yeah.
I'm so tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tricep pull downs, military presses, flies. I use the fly machine as a stretch, and I'll do the whole stack on that. But really, it's to stretch my shoulders out. So there's some exercise I really enjoy. Military press, I like that. I like to be able to see how much I can put over my head.
Yeah.
When I'm in good shape, I can do 2.25. I have done in my younger days 315, but I don't know if those days are going to come back or not. But it doesn't mean I stop trying.
Yeah.
I'll do a back day. Back days where I will do deadlifts, I will do pull-ups, I will do the machines. There's a lot of fun things to do. And then I do a leg day, but leg days are light. I don't squat over 2.25.
Yeah.
Anytime I go any heavier than that, my lower back has issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are adjustments I've had to make.
Yeah. So just kind of curious, going back a little bit, when you mentioned doing your burnout sets, are you talking, kind of like speed rep? You see on the internet today a lot of sort of the, I don't know, 3/4 reps, speed reps of the influencers, that type of thing. Are you doing something like that, or are you just talking about full range, just going to failure? What's your burnout set?
I'm doing full reps now. A lot of people say, "Well, you didn't lock out." Well, you don't lock out when you do lots of reps. That's a sure way of destroying your elbows. So I mean, it's a full rep. It's coming out, but I'm not going to sit there and overextend.
Yeah.
That's stupid. But you've got all sorts of these experts online that have opinions, and I tell them, thank you for your input. I will give it the attention it deserves. Have a nice day. But a lot of times when people are doing the speed reps, they're doing a different type of training. What they're doing is they're keeping the tension there, and they're probably more going to be curtailed towards the bodybuilder. But a lot of people will do that too. They'll do pin presses where you're starting here and popping it up, but you're doing heavier weight. And you're trying to concentrate on that transition period in that.
Yeah.
There's 100 different ways to train.
Yeah.
And understand everybody's built different. I have a long wingspan. Somebody who's got short arms is not going to bench like I do. They don't have the same things that I have to overcome.
Yeah.
We're all built different. But yeah, I do full reps. I'm not a half repper, but I don't make my opinion on that. The only ones I don't like is when I see people overloading too much weight and only coming down about halfway and going up.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to walk away because I've seen people they say they're doing squats, but they're doing genuflex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take the weight off, get a full rep in there. Because what's going to happen is you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to come down a little bit further than you were planning on to, and now you're going to get stuck, and now you're going to tear something.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm a full reps. The burnout is really just two things. It's to let me know, did I work out hard enough? So on my back day, my last set is pull-ups. And if I knock out, 10, 12 pull-ups, I know I didn't lift hard enough.
Yeah.
Because I should be dead by 4 or 5. Otherwise, I really didn't put the time in.
Yeah.
But on the bench, I think a lot of my strength comes from that 315 bullet burnout.
Interesting. Okay. So obviously you got the hard training going, and again, you're a big guy. What weight are you at right now? Or what do you compete at? What weight?
I compete either at 242 or 275.
Gotcha. Okay.
Depends if I want to diet or if I don't.
I was going to say that's quite a range. So
if you weigh 243, you compete at 275.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
If you weigh 243 pounds, you are in the 275 pound class.
Gotcha.
To compete at 242, you have to weigh 242 or less. The only times I've competed at 275 is either I was too heavy to sit there and do that much dieting, or on my way to weigh in, Mama made biscuits and gravy. I think the heaviest I've weighed in is at about 254.
Gotcha.
And that was in the 275 pound class. But generally, I try to hang around 242. Right now, I'm light. I'm only about 235.
Oh.
So I had taken some time off to let everything kind of reset because my next major lift is going to be March at the Arnold's.
All right, so what do you eat? How much do you eat? Do you track macros? Obviously, you've had, that's a pretty good weight fluctuation that you've had there. Fill
Yep.
us in on your diet and nutrition.
So my diet is when I'm training hard, I want at least 1 gram of protein per my body weight.
Yeah.
And then you got to realize your body can only process about 30 to 50 grams per meal. So it doesn't mean you sit there and you eat, 100 grams at breakfast, because 50 of it's just passing through the system.
Yeah.
I eat about 5 meals a day, and I try to get 30 to 50 grams per meal on that. I eat a lot of eggs. I drink a lot of Fairlife milk, uh, chicken, pork, hamburgers, fish. Yeah, pretty much if it runs, swims, flies, or grows, I eat it. So I'm a true omnivore. I like my vegetables. I like fruits, and I do a garden. But I generally try to be around, when I'm just regular working out, I'm usually around 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day. And then when I got my month before a meet, I'll pop that up another 500 to 1,000 calories. Do I track my macros? No. I just I eat more eggs. I eat probably about 5 to 6 dozen eggs a week. I mean, I'll just put them right in the blender, right with the milk. 4 or 5 eggs, some Fairlife milk, throw a banana in there, scoop peanut butter, grind it up, and just chug it down. And that's like my pre-breakfast. And then I will cook breakfast. Cook breakfast might be bacon or sausage with eggs, but onions and peppers thrown in there, and whatever else I happen to have. And then I'll eat a lunch, and then I'll eat a second lunch. It's like I'm a hobbit. But even at work, I work the night shift. I'll eat 3 meals at work.
Yeah.
So generally, when I'm awake, I'm eating about every 2 hours.
Gotcha.
Sleep is also important. If you're not getting at least 6 hours of sleep, and I mean real sleep, your body can't heal. So people say, "Well, I only get 3 hours sleep, but I'm not making any progress." Well, because your body's never healing.
Yeah.
And if you're not ingesting enough protein, your body will actually eat itself. Because remember, when you're lifting, you're tearing muscle. So it needs to rebuild that muscle back. And if you're not ingesting the protein, your body will actually dissolve muscle to repair the torn muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I always open up I always in my videos saying rest, nutrition, proper exercise, and hydration, and then just get in the gym and lift.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the nutrition, you don't have the rest and the proper exercise, you're not going to reach your goals. You're not going to get the gains that you want to get.
So you mentioned at the beginning a couple of your accomplishments. Kind of revisit, tell us, your victories. Tell us about your, max lifts, and then transition. You just mentioned something about the Arnold. Kind of what's in the future for you, maybe the Arnold or even beyond.
I'm currently tied for fifth in the entire world, all federations, in the 60 to 64, 275-pound class. So there's about 13 of us tied for fifth. All right. I know probably a third of the top guys. I either know them through Facebook or I have worked out with them. Nothing motivates me more than working out with somebody stronger. So I welcome it. So I've got world records in the UPA, the USPA, the WUAP, which is a world one. I've got a few world records there. APF, I think I've got some state records there because they don't do a world record. And the Arnold, I went to the Arnold the first time in 2023. I didn't compete, but I just went there. I've always wanted to go. But life, like I said, I raised 3 kids. And if they had something going on, that's what I went to, Yeah. But finally in 2023, I went there, had a really good time. I think I had about 4 people come up to me that knew me from my YouTube channel. So I was like, wow, man, they come up and shook my hand, hey, you got the hat, the hat. I always wear the hat. And I said, wow, I'm going to try to make this as often as possible. So in 2024, I qualified for it. And I went there and I competed. At that time, I had probably 30 people that knew me from my YouTube channel. So it was a lot more exciting. I met a lot of good people. I got to see people that I knew online that I haven't got to see face to face. and got to converse with them. And it's something I want to do on a yearly basis. That's going to be like, I go there every year.
Yeah.
I have fun there. What I want to do is I want to get to the point where I can improve my rating. I'd like to get, third or second in that. So what I'm going to start doing is after Thanksgiving, I'm going to train really hard. And I'll probably look for a meet sometime in January or early February, because I turned 65 in March. So that means I'll be in a new grouping.
Yeah.
But the weight I need to beat is the same in both groups, so it doesn't matter. So currently the person who has first, it did like 463 pounds.
Okay.
So that's what I want to do. What you do in the gym is not what you do in competition. Competition, you have to wait for a press call. You have to there's a lot more going on. So generally, your competition lifts are going to be 20, 30 pounds less than what you do in the gym.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to do. I want to improve my rating on that. I'm also trying to get my reps at 2.25 back up in numbers. I did 24 of them the other day. So I was able to do 225 by 24 reps.
Yeah.
I call it my NFL combine.
Yeah.
And my all-time best was 33. I'd like to get back to that.
Yeah.
That gets to be more of an endurance thing, which gets tougher as you get older.
Right.
I'm going to do the state championship again for discus. It's usually in Illinois. It's usually in September. So I'm going to get back into that. And then after that, it's just going to be preparing for retirement. I'm about 2.5 years away from retirement. So
you mentioned, your YouTube channel. Give us a little advertising real quick. What's your channel? What's it about? Where can we find you? Okay, it's MacBean Scottish Fitness. I've had it pretty much going on solid for about 5 years. My daughters actually set it up for me. They said, you should have a channel. You're posting this stuff on Facebook. And I said, well, okay, so they set it up. Everything that looks cool on that channel was not me. All right. And I had, in a short period of time, I had a video go viral for whatever reason. And the video was just getting the gym and lift. And the motivation behind it was that on Facebook, I was in these groups, and there were some, elderly gentlemen, not quite as old as me, but they were putting a lot of work in, and, we were trying to be supportive. And there was this one, he would use what's called a slingshot. So it's an apparatus that helps you, it's a training apparatus and helps you lift more. And he'd always be doing, here's my new, personal best with the slingshot. And somebody messaged me, goes, well, what do you think about this guy with the slingshot? Do you think that's kind of silly, stuff like that? And I said, just get in the gym and lift. I don't care if you use a slingshot. I don't care what you're doing. Gloves, no gloves, sleeves, no sleeves. As long as you're putting in exercise, then I think you're doing good. So that was my thing there. I think I benched 460 on that video, but it was just get in the gym and lift. Don't worry about who's doing what, everybody's in there for their own goals. And currently it's got 817,000 views. Wow. So it monetized me. I went from 75, friends to 1,300. Yeah. And back then YouTube paid pretty decent. Not like they do now, but I mean, it made me some money, and all of a sudden I was monetized. So that encouraged me to put more videos out. Right. I have never had a video go like that again. It would be nothing. But currently I've got a little over 14,000 followers on YouTube. I did an Instagram. It kind of blew up right away. I got 23,000 followers there. Yeah. And my Facebook is the one that's probably donating the best to me. And that's just John MacBean. I do have a page called MacBean Scottish Fitness, but it blew up a couple months ago for whatever reason. Yeah. And so those things kind of encourage me to stay in shape. Sure. Because I have a lot of people saying, listen, I went to the gym because I seen your video. I decided to start working out again because I seen your video. And that's really what I do it for, is to motivate people to either get back in shape or stay in shape. A lot of times you need something to help motivate you, but true motivation comes from within. So I tell people I can be motivating, but only you can be motivated. Well, that's pretty cool. And we will post links to all of John's socials in the description below, so you can definitely go chase him down and find out what's going on there. John, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate you telling us what makes you an autumn athlete that's not done yet. I'd like to clean up the interview here by giving you the floor to give us some final thoughts.
I tell you, everybody, who's in the gym has got their own, goals, their own little struggles and stuff like that. And I think we should all be supportive of each other in the gym. My one pet peeve is somebody who will be trolling somebody or insulting somebody by what they're doing. I have no tolerance for that individual. And yeah, I mean, I put up a wall of shame on my Facebook for the ones that truly deserve it. Because a lot of times they do it because they think they're anonymous, and once you break that anonymous down, then they go away or I block them. But we should be all there to support each other, and that I find that the lifting community in real life is very supportive, which I appreciate. And that I like the outdoors. I mean, I don't watch much TV. If the weather's nice, I'm outside.
Yeah.
I do a lot of videos on my channel, which we just walk around the farm. I got 14 acres, and I like to sit there and explore new things. Hey, look, there's deer, there's an eagle, there's some frogs there. I have these big tadpoles or whatever. I'm just a regular guy, and I try to be. Mine's a fun channel. It's not an angry channel. So when I do live streams and somebody tries to bring up, the topic of the day on the media and that, I say, you're at the wrong place.
Yeah.
We talk about well-being. We talk about physical fitness, mental, fitness. We talk about just going out and having fun. That's what we talk about on my channel.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get any politics or religion or the latest trend on mine. And that's probably why I don't have a huge following, but that's okay because I'm not doing it for a huge following.
Well, there you go, folks. John MacBean. He is definitely an autumn athlete that's not done yet. Remember, keep moving, set your own goals, and train hard to achieve them. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.